Good morning, everybody. Thank all of you for being here. I am with Commander Lawrence Dupree, the commander of the 7th District, along with Ms. SYLVIA SCINEAUX-RICHARD from the Eastern New Orleans Advisory Commission, and Ms. Lynette Sparrow, who's the president of the Homeowners Association for the Oak Island Homeowners Association, and we have some other friends from the neighborhood standing in with us as well. We're here to update you on our efforts to fight illegal dumping in this neighborhood. We've heard your complaints. We've always heard your complaints. We've heard them from the citizens, and we've heard them from the community leaders, and we're taking action. We're making arrests. This weekend, 7 district police officers received a call of subjects in this area with the U-Haul truck illegally dumping tires right down the street from where we're standing. Our officers stopped the truck, learned that the truck was stolen, and confirmed that 2 of the suspects were disposing tires illegally. One of the suspects had an outstanding warrant for his arrest for several previous illegal tire dumping incidents in New Orleans. The warrant was issued by the State of Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. The NOPD and the DEQ are working aggressively in this ongoing operation to put an end to illegal dumping in this neighborhood and to all neighborhoods in the city, but especially into East New Orleans where we've heard the complaints. The arrests this weekend are the beginning, but they're certainly not the end of our efforts and our fight to stop illegal dumping here in East New Orleans. Our officers are working closely with DEQ, and we expect to make more arrests in the near future. So this is a message. We're not taking our eye off the ball. Right here in the East and everywhere else, we made a promise that we would have a great deployment strategy to keep people safe from Mardi Gras, but I made a promise that we would have a great deployment strategy to have enough officers to respond and to keep people safe in every neighborhood in the city. That's a promise that we made. That's a promise that we're delivering. And so while people are enjoying Mardi Gras in downtown New Orleans, we have officers in every district doing everything we can to enforce the law and to keep people safe. Once again, we made that promise before we started, and we're delivering on that promise. The officers under the command of Commander Dupree are doing a great job. They're being very aggressive. When we hear these complaints that we know about, they're taking swift and very strong and certain action. And a message to anybody who thinks that they want to participate in this illegal activity: do not do it. We will catch you. We will hold you accountable. We're working with DEQ, and we will work with all of our local, state, and federal partners to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. All right? Ms. SCINEAUX, you want to say anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Commander?
Okay.
Excuse me.
Just want to say that the officers of New Orleans East and the citizens, we're not going to take a break, as the chief has spoken on. We take this serious, New Orleans East, and the message is clear. New Orleans East is not a dumping ground. And every time we come across it, we will enforce it for the maximum limits allowed under the law. Thank you.
So these are our partners. You know, it's all about community policing. It's all about community engagement. These are our partners. They need us. We're here for them. We're not going to let anybody come into this community and destroy it with illegal dumping or any other crime. We take it all seriously. That's a promise we made, and once again, a promise we're delivering.
Chief, can you speak to why having trash and illegal dumping could encourage other crimes?
Well, it deteriorates people's quality of life. People expect to live in a clean neighborhood that's safe, and when that quality of life is eroded, would-be criminals look at it and would think that citizens don't care, and then they take advantage of that. And so that is not the message we're sending. These citizens care. Our police department here in the East cares. That's why we're here. And so we want to make sure that we not only improve the quality of life, but we give them a great quality of life. Right? The officers are just being vigilant. They have spatial awareness. They understand the complaints, and so we're looking for people who could be moving into this area, dumping tires. Should we get a complaint, we're responding as fast as we possibly can to make sure we can build quality cases to hold people accountable so that we can not just end it, but hold those accountable who are doing it.
Will you have officers staking out known dumping grounds?
To the extent that we can, we will do everything. We will use every tool in our toolbox to make sure we not only stop and reduce violent crime, but we stop and reduce property crime, and that we do everything we can to give the citizens of East New Orleans a great quality of life. So nothing is off the table. We will use every tool in our toolbox.
Question for Ms. SCINEAUX-RICHARD. You and I did a story last week. You remember out by Eastover with that dumping ground. When you hear that arrests are being made and the NOPD is taking that seriously, does that go a long way this issue that you told me is costing jobs out here and affecting the quality of life?
Well, it's certainly a problem that when we get the police and the state and the city involved in trying to resolve the problem, that's what will cure the problem. We can't do it as a community on our own. We've got to do it in collaboration with our police department and our state and our city. We know that dumping tires should be handled in a way that they can prosecute these people who are doing it. And then they'll stop. We need measures to do that, to get them to stop. We need maybe signage. We need maybe better protection and oversight of the areas where they're doing the dumping so that they will stop, because our community is just tired of it. It's tired of it. We care about our community and we want others to do as well.
Has the chief agreed to put some of the crime cameras in the areas that you and I talked about?
We talked about that. That is something that they're looking into in terms of the feasibility of it, to try to see if we can get signage and some cameras in locations where we have more of the dumping occurring. So if that can happen, and also maybe a paper trail of how these tires are being accumulated so that they're dumped in such numbers. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of tires. So we need to have a methodology that can not just address the problem, but to cure the problem.
Chief, there's a half-mile stretch of illegal dumping right there on the I-10 service road in the back of Eastover. Chief Dupree is shaking his head, he knows about it. And there's a lot of tires there. Are you going to be able to help the New Orleans East community with maybe extra patrols there or some cameras there, or is there anything you can do to help that situation specifically?
Well, like I said, every tool in our toolbox we will use. You know, I was the commander here for 3 years working closely with this group, and the same problem existed back then, and we did what we could to eliminate it and eradicate it. We're still working on it, and so we're dedicated to giving manpower, resources, patrols, cameras, and whether they're permanent or whether they're mobile. But we don't want to tell the criminal everything that we're doing. We want to be able to stop it and catch them in the act. What we promise is that we will give them every resource that's available to us, whether it's physical resources or human resources.
Any thought as to whether the folks that your department arrested over the weekend may be responsible for some of that dumping over there?
Well, that investigation is ongoing, and so what we know is that they've been arrested before. There was a warrant for their arrest, at least for one of them. So this is an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing investigation, and we're working to extract information to learn more about the operation so that we can trace it back to its root so we can stop it altogether.
Where are they getting these tires? Are they working with shops or
Well,
where do they come from?
that's part of the investigation that we're working to get those answers as we speak, because we want to stop it at its root so that we can change the culture of that activity so that people will know that that is not the right thing to do, and that those tires, wherever they come from, should be disposed of properly.
We were doing this story yesterday. Oh, sorry, Paul. We were out here doing this story yesterday over off Michoud and I-10, and people are so comfortable dumping out here that a car pulled up and did it right in front of our cameras and our live truck. So you would think, we just haven't heard that affirmative yes, there's going to be cameras in these known dumping grounds because that's an easy way to catch them. And every time we do these stories, that's what the people out here say. Why don't we have a camera out here?
Well, that's something that we're working on. We first bought the cameras to deal with violent crime, to put them in areas where there's history over time of violent crime. And so we put a camera on, I believe it was Old Gentilly Road, a temporary camera, a while back. And we are working to do that again. And so to the extent that we can, we will use those cameras to put in areas. But don't forget, the more we telegraph what we're doing, the more people will just go to another area. What we want to do is make sure we put it in areas that stop it and that we can catch people doing it. And so what we like to do is have some element of surprise as to where we put them so that we can be most effective in our deployment of the cameras.
Has that camera on Old Gentilly led to any arrests?
It led to some information. I don't know that it actually led to some arrests.
On the two men that were arrested on Friday, Patterson has about 10 charges. He's also being held for a DNA swab. A couple of those charges was possession of stolen things, in addition to possession of stolen automobile. Did they also have, other than tires, other things linked to other burglaries or theft in that U-Haul?
I don't have the answer about any evidence that was on their person at the time of their arrest. That would be in the police reports. I don't have that. We can get that.
You're shaking your head no?
No, I'm just saying I don't have it either.
Okay.
So that would be the evidence that they may have had on their possession at the time of arrest, which I don't have at this moment, but we can certainly get it to you.
Okay, and Commander Dupree, we received a tip whenever we were out here yesterday that said that there are only 3 7th District officers patrolling this area patrolling all of New Orleans East at night. Can you speak to that?
That's a myth. In addition to the average the platoon structure, we have a power wash structure, we have a task force structure, so that's a complete myth.
How many would you say?
It's staffed accordingly. We're in Mardi Gras season, so it's all hands on deck. So there's 10 officers just on a night watch with a 16 power watch. So that's 16 officers that works at night. So no, that's not accurate.
Let me add something to that, because having been the commander here for over 3 years, I understand the staffing. We make sure that the 7th District is more than adequately staffed, because it is the biggest landmass. It has the furthest distance traveled per officer, per call. We understand all that. I made sure that their staffing at night had more officers during Mardi Gras. So when the proposal for the incident plan came to me, I made sure we increased their staffing during the Mardi Gras time so there could be more officers during the Mardi Gras season. That's exactly what we did. And they're very heavily staffed with no one taking off days. And so I believe that's why we were effective in being able to make an arrest, because there was an officer available.
What's the next step, obviously, is cleaning the
Well, we're working with the city and with DEQ, and all of that's a process. As soon as we can work that out, I'm certain that will be in the works. All right?
Anybody else?
All right.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk about how you're tracing these tires back to individual shops.
That's part of the ongoing investigation. I don't have the methodology of how we get into the shops, but the point is to trace it back to its origin so we can hold people accountable who are not doing what they're supposed to do with the tires in the transfer of those tires to other people and how they're supposed to be disposed of. So as we work with DEQ to investigate that, those are the answers we're working to find. All right? Thank you, guys.